Hey guys, Military Arsenal. I want to review this Colt Series 80 1911. This was my first 1911 and I chose a Colt. This is the model 1991. This has the internal firing pin block safety in it. It has a stainless barrel. It has 3-dot sights that are white dot. Pretty easy to use. Now this gun right here was my first 1911, and when I was looking for one, I wanted it to resemble the GI model as much as I could find, and this Series 80 pretty much did that. The only thing modern about it is that it has a stainless barrel and it has 3-dot sights. Other than that, if you look at it, it looks like your traditional 1911. And that's exactly what I wanted to find. It has your long trigger, like the World War I model. It has your flat mainspring housing, like the World War I. But then it has your cutouts by the trigger. It has an A1 beaver tail, and it has your spur hammer, which is pretty much like the World War II. So it's kind of like a resemblance of both. It has your standard vertical serrations. Now this is the government model. It has your 5-inch barrel. It has your standard guide spring rod, your standard takedown plunger, and it has your bushing. I'm not a real big fan of bull barrels. I like the bushing. It does have a lowered ejection port, but it's not flared, so it keeps that traditional look. It has your standard double diamond rosewood grips. All the Series 80 1911s come with the rosewood grips. Tolerances are pretty good. It has a little bit, but it's broken in. This thing has well over, probably, I'm going to say close to 1,500 rounds through it. I've had this for about 2 years, and I've shot it a lot. Now, Colts, when you get them from the factory, they are a little bit loose out of the box, but Colt does that on purpose because I read somewhere that their philosophy is that a gun that they make should work reliable out of the box. So if they made it really tight with tight tolerances like a Kimber or an Ed Brown, you have that really long break-in period, and Colt wants you to be able to pick up one of their guns out of the box and shoot it reliably. Now, Colts do have a break-in period, but it's not quite as long and extensive as, say, one with really tight tolerances. I think they recommend somewhere between 250 to 300 rounds to put through it before you would, bet your life on it. Now, with this magazine, this is a standard magazine, with your standard follower. You will get your occasional misfeed with this, especially on the last round. So whenever you have trouble with this kind of a magazine, don't blame the gun right off the bat. Go and get a good quality magazine like a Kimprotech, Metgar, Wilson Combat, Chip McCormick, and make sure it has that nice follower that bends down into the magazine body. The gun will work so much more reliably. I have a Wilson Combat magazine that I use with this, and I never have any issues with it. And then whenever I switch over to this one, I'll have my occasional misfeed. So it's the magazine, not the gun. I'm not saying these are bad, but they're just not quite as reliable as your better magazines out there. Now on this gun, nothing's extended. It has your standard beaver tail, standard thumb safety, standard slide release, standard mag release. It has beveling in the magazine well, makes it a little bit more easy to reload it. The mainspring housing is polymer, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but I really haven't had any issues with it, and until I have an issue with it, then I'll change it. So as long as I don't have any problems with it, I'll just leave it on the gun. Now if you're one of those guys that has to have a metal mainspring housing, it's not that big of a deal. All you got to do is punch out that pin right there, This will slide out. Make sure you don't let your, well actually I don't think the grip safety comes out until this pin's out, so all you got to do is push that pin out right there, slide your mainspring out, put the new one in, put the other pin in, and then you're good to go. Now this has your slotted screws. The barrel is not a match barrel, it is a standard barrel. Okay. Very nice gun. It has the shiny bluing on the sides, and on the top it's like a matte black, and on the bottom it's a matte black. On the top that's kind of nice so that when you're shooting in bright daylight, the sun does not glare into your eyes and throw off your aim. So that's a nice design. Colt's been doing this design for a long time with the shiny bluing on the side and the flat black on the top. Very comfortable in my hand. It feels great. It's one of the most comfortable 1911s I've ever handled. If you're in the market for one of these, you can also get one in the Commander size that has the 4.25 inch barrel, which comes to about right there, and it makes carrying it a little bit more easy. It's still going to be a heavy gun, but it's going to make the length of it a little bit more easy to work with. If you're going to carry the government model like this one right here, I'd recommend using a shoulder holster. Whenever I have this in my shoulder holster, it's very comfortable. My shoulder holster is a Galco. I'll review it someday in the future. It has the holster for the gun, and then on the other side of it, it has a double magazine pouch, and that kind of balances the weight. And I like to be able to carry extra magazines with me anyway, so it works perfectly fine. Okay, the trigger is about 5 pounds, I think. It's a very smooth trigger, and that's why this gun is so accurate. You can put very tight groups together with this gun. On this side of the slide it says Series 80, and on this side of the slide it says Colt's government model 45 automatic caliber. It's a very nice gun. The barrel says Colt 45 auto. The grips are nice checkering. It's one of my favorite 1911s. And if you're looking for a 1911 like this, like your standard GI model, I'd really recommend getting a Colt Series 80, or you can get the Colt Series 70. The Series 70 is more like a 1911 A1. It'll have your short trigger, and it'll have the hump mainspring housing. And I think it has black sights on it. It does not have white dot sights. I have that gun as well, and I'll review that in the future. But the Series 80 is an excellent gun. Absolutely excellent. So, just wanted to show you that. That's really all I have for now, guys, so I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.